All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. Let me know how my audio is. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday morning. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes. We'll start looking at charts. We'll give people just a minute or two, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're new to the live stream or if you haven't had the opportunity to join, typically I've been trying to do these recently on Saturdays, Saturday mornings. Usually I get on here for about an hour. I'm not so sure I'm going to go that long today. I might go about a half hour, but what I'm going to do in this live stream is this is just an opportunity for everyone to kind of throw out their trade ideas or throw out the stock charts they want me to look at. We'll pop open. I can't get to them all, but I try to get to the ones that, you guys are calling out. So feel free to put a comment, leave a comment below or wherever that comment box is at. And I'll start looking at those charts. And we're looking for good trade ideas for next week. A couple of those trade ideas from the last Saturday session panned out okay, and then a couple of them haven't triggered yet. But there's a couple ideas. There's actually a lot of stocks out there I'm seeing that have really good setups that just haven't triggered the trade yet. So those will be on watch for next week as well, and I'll be covering those in my videos. And we'll just, hopefully, again, I try to cover them in advance, and I try to point out the trade idea and what I like about it, why I like it, and what's going to initiate an entry or a trigger. And I try to tell you guys that in advance, because typically when these things trigger, especially if it's a short trade, then they trigger fast. And the key to one of the things that I've found in all the years I've been trading is the key to limiting your losses, I suppose, is position timing. Getting the entry close to risk, close to key levels, so that if you're wrong in the trade, you want to know that you're wrong pretty early, and you want to know that you're wrong relatively small, so you can exit a losing trade quickly. Take small losses. And then if you're right, typically you just let that thing run down to your profit targets. So again, I try to point out those trade ideas in advance on the videos, and I talk about the concepts of all the things I'm looking at in the charts, and we'll go through some of that today. So let's go ahead and get rolling. We're going to start out with, whatever you guys want to look at. We can start out with the SPY. If you guys want to look at the SPY, little sell activity into the close on Friday, which was kind of interesting. So if you look at the hourly, we'll just look at the hourly for now, because that's really, we're really focused on, let me mark it out. I'm kind of focused on this pattern right here, this whole range that the chart's been in. And basically, you can see that we're still just getting rejected at that top of the resistance. On Friday, they popped it up, made it look like it was going to break out and do a back test of this green trend line, this green trend line. I'll show you where that comes from here in a second. But look at the candle, first hour sell down and pretty much sold all day. Little bounce off of that support area. You can see we bounced off of that and then, sold off into the close. So pretty bearish close on Friday. It's just one day, and we're at the top of this bigger range. But does that mean we're going to head down to the bottom of the range? If we get back down here, this is where the bulls or buyers are going to be at. They've defended it twice. You can see got down here once. They bid it up, got down here, gap down. The buyers were right there. The buyers are going to continue to be down there until they lose the battle, basically. So expect the buyers to try to fight it out. And then, Usually when you get a break of a range, it happens impulsively. So going to the daily, if we get down here and break this range, it's probably going to be in the form of a gap down where it traps everybody who is, you know, counter trend or whatever. And then we'll just flush out. That green trend line comes off the March 2020 lows right here. And so that is, you know, we've just been basically wedging up. I don't have the wedge marked out. I can get rid of this one. But basically kind of doing something like that. The top end isn't that important to me right now of this pattern because we've broken that green trend line or support. So I'm just really more focused on that, you know. So back test to that or objective areas to short. I did talk about the potential to rally up and do a full back test and create a new high, a new all-time high, and that will likely be a divergent high if it does that. So that'd be an objective area to add to a short or take a short if you get up there. But again, I'm not so sure you're going to get up there. And the way that I usually play this, because we have negative divergence in the RSI and the PPO, because we've broken the trend line on the daily, this daily chart, you know, I'd rather just be short than try to get the perfect entry. That is one thing that you have to understand is, yes, it could backtest or it could just flush out. And if it, you know, you've broken trendline support, you have negative momentum, you have all the setup and things that you need for price to continue lower, whether price goes up first and then lower, you know, you don't know, right? And so it's not always worth risking trying to get that backtest because you just don't know it's going to happen. I usually play it by having a short position. I take the short position on the break of the trend line, and then I'll add to a short position if I get the back test. All right, that's how I typically do it. All right, let's get into what other charts do you guys want me to look at? NPI. All right, well, we'll start out from the beginning. Yeah, thanks, Kier. I can't pronounce it. Karthik Raman. Appreciate that. I'm curious what recommendations have you made money on, I guess, is kind of interesting to me. I mean, I know that a lot of the picks I've thrown out over the last couple months have all been wildly profitable, at least for me. So if you're taking those, then they should be profitable because I'm making money on them. It's been a pretty profitable, really this month has been extremely profitable across the gold miners that have been going up and the short positions that have been going down. It's been good. But yeah, curious which ones you're talking about. Docusign. All right, I don't think I have that one up. Let's go ahead and look at Docusign. Yeah, so I've marked this up in the past. This thing doesn't want to break down, does it? You've got an upward trend line right there on the daily, and you've got, let me move this. This thing's annoying. Get this thing down here. And then, you know, negative divergence, and that remains. You can see, look at that. It just continues to just, you know, there's just negative divergence that just remains. So far, that negative divergence has not played out for a breakdown in price. We've just gone sideways. So obvious level, and there's a bull that's a bear trap right there. See that breakdown? It broke it down, especially on this day. I mean, look at that day right there. That you closed that day right there. That would have got me, you know, for sure. And that's just, you know, that's just the nature of. That's why it's important to, you know, take your entries close as the breakdown starts happening. You know, you can wait for the daily close for more confirmation or jump in, and then if it just ramps up, just close it out. But, you know, they ramped it back up. So I would have been out of this one. If I was short, I wouldn't want to be short this thing right now, especially with that recovery of that trend line, which is about, the level is 186, we'll call it 187. Now, what I would say on this, because there's still negative divergence, I don't see any bullish divergence really on the daily. You know, this was your last divergent high. And, you know, that was basically a divergent high and a back test of that broken trend line. That was the short entry. That would really be your short entry. And a level of support, which would be these levels. You traded, there's the trade. I mean, that would have been my short trade probably is right there. And that's about a 30% drop All right, that's the one I would have wanted to take. Now it's just chopping around sideways. If it breaks this level, 187, you get a nice solid break, then we could, you know, there's a potential ways to go to the downside, because you can see this thing traded sideways all through here, kind of, and then ramped just straight up in 2020. So we could give all that back and maybe come all the way back down to, you know, all the way down. This would probably be a final trade or a final target if it was going to break 92.33. That's a big drop, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, and again, they just initiated a bear trap right there. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be short. There's not a lot of, but I wouldn't want to be long this either, because it's just sideways. This is just dead money. All right, so until you break to the upside or to the downside, it's just, for me, I just would watch it. All right, what do you guys got? MPI. Is this a utility? These utilities don't typically move a lot. You broke the 200-day. That's pretty obvious. So we've got, yeah, there's your trend line right there. That was your upward trend. You can see reaction, 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 and then look when you broke that reaction or the sell signal, gap down. All right, nothing's more impulsive than a gap down, because it traps the late to the party money, and that creates panic sellers basically, or that creates sellers. When you trap money and then start moving lower, they just see losses mounting on top of their positions, and they start to panic sell. So that's always bearish. Gap down. You know, didn't even get a back test. Another gap down. Yeah, you know, the support on, I mean, in general, this is bearish. And one thing, look at the momentum. Lower lows. See that right there? See the RSI and the PPO? Lower lows. So downtrending. Downtrending momentum, downtrending price. You can mark your trend out. Maybe it's something like this. Not a lot of reactions to give us a great trend line, so it could be something like that. Again, when you only have 2 data points, you can't verify the trend line. So it's almost worth not even having it there, so you don't jinx yourself or trick yourself into thinking that's a trend line. But downtrending price action, you know, here's some support right down here. Next level of support looks to be right about 35.31. But we could bounce up to the 200 and then roll over. I don't exactly know. I mean, the trend's already started. Your sell signal's right here. All right, the trade is a short trade, and it's already left the station. So I wouldn't be long this thing. You don't have bullish divergence on the daily. And I wouldn't want to be short, because the short trade's already left the station, all right? If you took it on the breakdown of the sell signal, you would have been profitable by about 13% right now and continuing, but it's too risky to enter a trade right here, any position. Moving on. Yeah, Mara's late to the party as well, but that's a short. I think I was looking at that one. Yeah, I was eyeballing that one, and there's your divergent high right up there. I have it circled. See the negative divergence. This was a divergent high. This was another divergent high. There's probably a lot more downside in this, I think. But yeah, there's a support level that probably I could see you getting down into this area, somewhere right in here. Safe. Well, maybe not quite that low. There's a support level. I think probably there's a support level right there, about 10.82 or so, $11. That might be about as far as this thing goes. I don't know. It's kind of already late to the party a little bit, so I'm not taking this one. Yeah, Toll Brothers. Well, I'm short this. Still short it. I went home short this on the weekend. I don't see any breakdown. I don't see any technical change in the posture of this. All right, I see an uptrend line. I see a break in trend. Nice sell signal. See that's a sell signal. Break of trend. Nice impulsive red candle. Breakdown. All right. Volume. Always look down at your volume right there. See that? Pop in volume on that breakdown. All right. So that's all giving me further proof that we're starting a new downtrend in this, and the uptrend, which was this, has been broken. Negative divergence on the PPO, negative divergence on the RSI, on the daily chart. This is the target, at least as far as I can tell, right there, you know, and I don't know when it'll get there, but I say, you know, it's about $50. Again, if you're shorting the thing, you don't want to wait for the very last penny to come in. Usually you want to cover a little bit ahead of that just to kind of front run any potential buyers that are waiting down there at support. And then there's another level of support, which we could get down to about 40.80. That's another potential target. I don't think we'll go too much lower than that unless we're starting a full on bear market. And again, we'll watch the SPY for the signs around that. Start a full on bear market, we could obviously go lower than the March lows of 2020. I don't think the Fed's going to let us. The Fed is like, if we start doing that, the Fed's going to jump back in with huge money printing. The market's just addicted to it. They know it. It's like, you know, they know exactly what to do when they hear the Fed coming out with more stimulus. So, you know, if that, it's always possible. But again, inflation is likely. That's kind of what we're watching, and that's why we're playing the gold miners. Is it's the inflation trade, and we're looking for, you know, we're looking for inflation to kind of kneecap the Fed, basically. So, you know, if the inflation comes out and starts to ramp higher, the Fed's going to lose their ability to do all this stimulus that they're doing and all this easy money policy stuff. They're really going to start to lose their ability to do it. So that's going to start to put pressure on the market. So we'll watch that. All right, what else you guys got? Long-term setups. Yeah, I like the ag commodities. Someone's asking me what my long-term setups are. You know, I have some foreign stocks in another account that I've been buying, and I've got about 50 or 60 of them, but they're foreign stocks bought through a foreign brokerage, and those are working out really well, actually. So it's all the inflation trade, and I like that inflation trade. I think it's run quite a bit, so we might get some sort of reversion or pullback a little bit on that trade, kind of wipe out some of that hot money that's in that inflation trade. But I still like that, and so I'm looking to buy these ag commodities on pullbacks to support. You know, corn, I'm kind of looking at down here, you know, about $18 or so. That's the trend line that I can spot. Coffee, you know, I'd like to get coffee down here, you know, if we could get it. Coffee, I was looking at the other day, it could even pull back to maybe, you know, we could even pull back to the 200-day moving average or something. But again, I'm looking to buy on those supports. I'm not really looking to short these. I'm looking to buy. Why do I not want to short where I think there might be a pullback? Well, if you look at the weekly chart, I mean, look at that on corn. Bear market, you know, and this really, bear market started up here. Their bear market, impulsive breakout. So I'm looking for a pullback and then continue in what looks like a new bull market. So I like those. I like, you know, kind of anti-dollar plays. And that's the main reason around the gold miners. And they also, you know, just the charts look really good. So got to go with the charts. Yeah, if something's range bound, when let's look at, I mean, like Toll Brothers, you know, I mean, you can see Toll Brothers is kind of range bound. It's just chopping around. That's how these things usually work. You have to realize that if I go to the daily chart, many people, especially retail, they don't see trend lines. They don't see momentum fading. They don't see any of that. All they see is that. All right. They see prices going higher and higher and higher. They don't know when to exit because the prices continue to go higher. And so that's why retail typically, you know, exits after the market's down a lot. And then they all get bullish after the market's ripping higher. All right. They buy high, they sell low. That's typically how it works. Sometimes they get the trades right and they, you know, end up buying right. But on average, buy high, sell low. So, and that's because they're not, using technical analysis. They're watching the headlines. All right. So what will happen is this has broken trend, and I would put a high probability that this Toll Brothers will continue down here. And as it does, you'll hear some headline that will tell you why it's down here. All right. It'll be some bearish news or whatever. Some headline will come out and tell you why the home builders have been down here. Okay, but that doesn't help you, right? You've already lost money. It just tells you why you lost money. But that's what the retail and the media does, is they want to soothe. Retail is always looking for headlines to help comfort why they lost money. They're afraid of the things they don't understand. If they understand why they lost money, then they have hope that maybe that'll change. But again, the technicals guide us. All right. Oh, cool. WPM. Yeah, that was a good one, huh? Yeah. Full disclosure, on Friday, I kind of pulled some of that off. But all I'm really looking for is a slight pullback. And I've got it circled right here. This is Wheaton. But again, I talked about Wheaton on this channel when it was down here. And I was telling everybody, guys, this looks bullish. Looks like it's about time to start buying. I'm going to buy if we recover this trend line right there at 37.20. I think it was about 37.20. And I was buying, I basically bought here. And then when it did the back test, I bought again right there. So I was pretty loaded up all the way down there. And then, rode this thing up. First, I see this resistance, though, right here on the daily. There's some resistance, a reaction there. Didn't get one. They stepped in early there, but we're right there. And we're slightly above it. But I could see us breaking down, coming down, correcting a little bit, and then I'll be looking to buy here. Could be wrong, though. It's in an uptrend. It's bullish. Long-term traders, I still like it to the upside. I think we're going to the all-time highs and probably making a nice solid leg above that. But yeah, from the lows down there, this thing went up, 26%. Pretty nice if you have a good-sized position. All right, moving on. AMD. All right, so this one, here's what's going on. I have this level marked out right here because what I saw on this thing on Thursday, I believe there was a attempt to save the stock. All right, that's basically what it was. Someone's watching the stock. Well, I think it was AMD. I think they announced a share buyback or dividend or some. I don't remember, but I think it was some sort of. I heard something where they announced some sort of buyback. And likely they were trying to save the stock because you can see we're teetering right there on that support zone of 73. It's about 73.75 or so. If you break that, you got this thin zone. Let me get rid of that. If you break that, I think you're heading right down to here, $59. And they know that too. And that would have been a move just from there down to there, about 20%. So they pumped it with some news. But again, that news is already out. It's priced in now. So now what, are people going to continue to buy that? Or was that just a quick savior and then they're going to come back down and it's going to break? I suspect it's going to break because you have negative divergence. That remains. We haven't made a new low. I think we're going to break down to 59. And that's probably all that there is in this one is a move down to there. But I do think that that's what's going to happen. So what I did on Friday, and I marked this line out right here. I got this trend line. I saw the pump on Thursday, and I noticed on my chart where they were just spiking it, and I exited the AMD trade. Now, that's active trader stuff. I'm looking at charts all the time. I'm able to do that. But I got out, and I drew a line at where I thought they might bounce it to. And you can see here on the hourly, this was basically support. Then it's kind of resistance. I figured, okay, they're going to go up in that area, and then that's about the area that they're going to get rejected at. So I think that was the bounce. All right, I could be wrong. We break higher than, if we continue to break higher, then we're probably going to go up quite a ways. But I think that was probably all that there is, and we're going to go back down, and then we're going to break. If you want to be conservative, you can just wait for the break right there. Wait for the impulsive sell signal breakdown. This, you can see, look what they were breaking it, wicking it, breaking it. Buyers were trying to hold that up. They announced some news and then, boom. So, you get a nice impulsive break and it closes, then I think you're probably heading down to that 59. So I like it to the downside, although, you know, keep an eye on it because it still has not broke that major support yet. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going lower, guys. You know, I've talked about how I just don't believe in Bitcoin, to be honest. And although it's made a lot of money, you know, I just have not really, you know, I just don't believe in what it really is about. Maybe the technology is, you know, the technology is good, but the government's not going to let people, they're not going to let the dollar, they're not going to let it just edge out the dollar. All right. Not without a fight. It might edge out the dollar, but they're not going to do it without a fight. So expect a lot of volatility along the way. And that volatility for a lot of people is just going to wipe them out. Yeah, there's Bitcoin. So there's your support. These are the levels. I've had these marked out for a while, but Bitcoin futures 44.85. I got another level at there 30. I had it at 31,000 basically. We ran down, we hit it, undercut it a little, but close enough on a $30,000 thing. Next level, I've got about 24.5. Those are the only levels I have right now. We obviously could go lower, but we'll just say 24.5. So, you know, we're going to, again, it's going to chop around, maybe run up, you know, bounce around, and then continue trending lower. Here's the thing. Here's your uptrend line of Bitcoin. It actually broke trend right up here. All right. That is where you'd want to short. That was your sell signal. Look, there's a divergent high. See the momentum? All right. So that would not tell you to short, but that would tell you that get ready. All right. And then there's your trend line. And my trend line's off just slightly. I could tighten it up. It's more like right about there. All right. There's your trend line. And there's your sell signal. Gap down. All right. That sell signal came way back there in April, and nobody really realized it. But if you're looking at the charts like I do, that's where I would have shorted at. And you know, that's the same strategy that I kind of talk about day in and day out. And you'd ride out, you know, you'd just be sideways, and I'd be, you know, I didn't short this, but if I did, I'd be talking about, look, there's no technical change, I'm staying short. All right. And then boom. And now everybody's on the YouTube and the news media and saying, oh, Bitcoin crashed. You know, I would have said, look, I think Bitcoin's going down right up here. So follow what I'm teaching, and you guys will be able to spot these. They don't always work out, but it's all about putting the probability in your favor. And if you're, you know, and if you want to just sharpen your skills and you haven't taken the course, take the course. It's well worth the money. I'm telling you guys. Every single person that has taken the course I haven't had one bad review about the course. Some people say it's too advanced. There's a few others that say it's, you know, relatively beginner stuff. I mean, it's all specific to what you know, but in general, it's going to help you at least sharpen your skills. And when I'm talking about these charts on my daily videos, you're going to be able to pick up on these concepts much quicker. And the main benefit and the main thing that you really got to be able to do if you want to start making good money in the market is you got to be able to find your own trades. All right. You can't wait for me to point them out. I try to, you know, I'll point out some, and some of those will work out really well, but you'll be able to find your own too. And that's a skill set that you'll have, you know, for the rest of your life, whether I'm here or not. Okay. So link is in the description. You know where it's at. All right. Moving on. Let's see here. Yeah, there's nothing interesting going on with NVIDIA. I'll point it out if I see something, but I don't see. Yeah, buybacks in AMD. Okay, see, yeah, that was all about the pump, guys. They're just trying to save the chart. You know, that's the way the market works. You'll notice when you start looking at charts and start analyzing key levels, it's really funny how it works. But what will happen is something will break down, and then, you know, or a chart will have a sell signal like Bitcoin, and you're like, okay, I high probability it's going to sell off in the next few weeks, and then there'll be some headline that will follow. All right, that's how it always works. Intel, yeah, you know, I've been kind of looking at that one. The charts trades a little. This thing trades a little weird. This Intel stock. The thing on Intel is there's a weekly chart pattern I've been kind of eyeballing. So this is coming off your 2009 lows on Intel. And I see this as this is your upward price channel. They had a brief bear trap, basically, where we dip below, looking like we're going to start to head into a bear market in Intel, but they recovered it. So, you know, until that goes, we're probably going to be bullish down near support. We're getting close to support. Look at the daily. Yeah, I don't see bullish divergence. So I think we're going to go a little lower, maybe down to here. Maybe we get down to 50, you know, down to the support line. That's that weekly support line, about 52.60 bucks. Sorry, 52.62. Maybe it puts in bullish divergence as it dips lower. It's just not enough. There's just not enough there for me to be interested in anything. If anything, I'd be looking to maybe get long down here if you get some bullish divergence. But I don't like where the SPY's at to get long right now. I don't know. We'll look at it. We'll see what's up. Yeah, everybody loves AMD. Everybody loves the momentum stocks until they go down. See, guys, you know, I don't buy puts. I don't buy calls. I don't buy options. All right. I go long, so I buy stock or I sell stock short. All right. That's how I do it. And because I don't like the time element, you know, I don't like to have something go in my favor in a certain amount of time. Now, again, a lot of these trades, when I point out breakdowns and sell signals, you know, if you're taking puts or whatever, then, you know, give yourself enough time is what I would say, because this is swing trading. This is not like buying GameStop calls that expire in 2 days. All right, we're looking for a position to go in our favor. We want to be right. We don't have to be right now. We just want to be right, and preferably in, you know, weeks to, you know, a month or two, I guess. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. We're gonna wrap up this thing, not too much longer. What do you guys got? Yeah, the course. Well, look, it's just about 5 or 6 hours of teaching you to read charts, teaching you what to look for, teaching you about position management, position size, risk reward evaluation, all the things that, you know, I kind of just naturally do when I look at a chart and evaluate a trade. But I really took all the steps that I actually walk through, and I made about an hour and a half course on each step. And then I also have a checklist, kind of a stock trade checklist that I put together that are all the things that it's like, okay, check for this, check for this, check for this. All those steps you put together that will help you kind of, you know, evaluate a trade. Again, trades are probabilities. They're not guarantees. So it's all about managing the probability. And that's why risk reward is important, and also position sizing. All right. All right, well, let's look at some charts. XOM, yeah, oil. You know, yeah, someone pointed out the bearish divergence, and we do have it, all right? So there it is. I was looking at that, I think, on Friday. Someone talked about it in a comment. Negative divergence on XOM, on the PPO and the RSI, and your divergent high was basically right there. You got some support, you know, the thing is, you got some support right there, and let's get rid of that. We don't need this one anymore. Let's see if we can mark out some sort of yeah. I can't make a clean uptrend line though. Maybe that's it. You know, you've got a reaction low, a reaction, another reaction, and then you broke. That could be it. But you've also got some support down here at 55.35. That's not that great of a trade, you know, 6% downside. Maybe. All right, this could be a short. All right, the breakdown's not too impulsive. It was a gap down and it has held. So if you want to short this thing, what I would say is for 55.34 area as your first level of support, and then your next level of support I see as being right about $50. I wouldn't expect we're going to go too much beyond that, too much lower. But something to watch. All right, let's see what else you guys got. Yeah, the financials are keeping the SPY up. That's what, yeah, I'm watching those like a hawk right now. I think there's a lot of good trades in the financials. Let me see what I've got. Like this one, this Ally, man, that's just a robotic uptrend line. Obviously, the algos are just buying at every single trend line support. All right, but you can see we're getting up there, and we're getting negative divergence now. Confirmed negative divergence, and so we've got divergent highs up here. We're looking for that trend line break. It's not there yet. We don't have a reason to get short. This could continue to go higher. But when we get the trend line break, I've got a level of support. Yeah, I think it's right about here, 43. And then another level of support is all the way down here at 33.57. Another thing to watch on that is just the XLF. You can watch that. It's kind of your bellwether. And again, here's your uptrend line. Negative divergence, everything. We're waiting for a break of the trend. You get the break, I think we're heading down to this trend line right here, which is about 30 bucks, 31 bucks. And that really comes back to your weekly chart, which goes all the way back to your 2011 bull market trend. All right, support, 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 broke, resistance, finally recovered it, held support right in there. All right, so if you break this, I think you're coming down there. So lots of good setups in the financials. Wells Fargo is another one. I think that looks really good. Let's look at the daily here. All right, 5 more minutes, guys. Throw out your good ideas. Leave me a thumbs up if you've been here already. We're going to wrap it up. Wells Fargo. All right, uptrend line down the daily chart. Nice clean uptrend line. Yeah, building negative divergence. Starting to build. Kind of flat there on the RSI. That Ally looks a little bit better, but still negative divergence, uptrend line, waiting for the break of the trend. All right, levels to watch. I'll have to probably spend some more time than I want to right now finding some good levels. I mean, there's a level right there. Somewhere right in there, 4150-ish. All right, what's next? Ride. I don't even know what Ride is. I did not cover that. Oh, this is the EV stock. All right, so this is one of those pump stocks of 2020 that everybody thought was going to, go to the moon. But clearly, if you invested and you weren't looking at charts, you got wiped out. You probably lost money, most likely. And you're probably out of the trade by now. Recently, though, let's look at where we're at now. I'll have to kind of tighten this one up to get a clean downtrend line. It's right about there. That's pretty impulsive breakout for sure. Let's look at the let's look at the RSI and here's the PPO. Yeah, bullish divergence. That's a divergent low. I didn't see this one, but bullish divergence. So that would have told me that, okay, we're probably going to have an upward move. Boom, impulsive breakout. I'm bullish. I'd be bullish on this one, at least for the short term. Looks like it's coming back in for a back test of the trend line. That might give you a second opportunity. I wouldn't want to be long here, to be honest. I'd be more interested in going long on a back test of the trend line somewhere down there for a move up. Level of resistance. Well, you clearly got this level. It's right about there. Yeah, 1272. Maybe. Might be where the trade's at. But if you get it down here, that's a good trade. That could be a move of, about 70%. I like that. That's potentially interesting. Although, I don't usually get involved in these high-flying crazy mania stocks. And this one doesn't have a whole lot of history either. But you can't deny that chart. That looks bullish. Okay, moving on. We're going to do 2 more. All right? 2 more. What do you guys want me to cover? I'll give you guys just a second. Maybe just leave a comment below on which one you want me to cover. We'll do 2 more. Yeah, IWM does have a large portion of financials, and so, you know, that IWM chart looks like a great short, but I would like to see those financials break. So I'm waiting for that, really. Waiting for those financials to break. Really, the way that I'm probably going to play it, just so you guys know, is, you know, I usually trade Qs. That's really my go-to short. But another way to potentially play it, if we get another breakdown, would be to short the financials and short IWM. That might be a better way to play it. But again, I'm not recommending anything here. Just my trade ideas, just the charts that I'm showing. And we got to wait for those sell signals. All right. Well, all right. Let's look at... Let's look at Ford. I want to do that one because that one I've been kind of looking at. All right. So there's your uptrend line in Ford. All right. Clean upward channel. You do have negative divergence. Now, not fully confirmed. All right. They could burn through this negative divergence. So you see the RSI here, how it's pointed up. We want to see this turn down. If this turns down, then that's going to, you know, help confirm that negative divergence. And likely you want to, yeah, I mean, we've just made an equal high. So if this starts to turn down, then this was your divergent high. So I think we'll probably kind of creep just a little bit above there and then maybe turn down. The thing I'd be looking for, because if you start to get the RSI turning down and the PPO turning down to help confirm that negative divergence, I'd be looking for a break of this trend line right there. All right. False breakdown right there, bear trap. And that created some impulsive buying. But I'd be looking for a break of the trend. So I'm going to watch that. All right. I've got this one on my radar. But no break yet. So still bullish. And last one. Last one, guys. Yeah, Peloton. Well, we can look at Peloton, I guess. All right, Peloton held that support. Looked like it was going to get rejected. It held. We could do a back test of this trend line right up here. The 200 days moving up is right up there, so maybe they pop it right up into there. That's the area I'd be looking to short this thing. But the thing about Peloton that isn't my favorite, you look at the hourly and actually maybe even the daily. Yeah, you see, you've got bullish divergence right there. See that? Sorry, not this tool. See the trend? See this right there? I've got it marked out. There's some bullish divergence in the RSI, and not really in the RSI, but it's there in the PPO. So kind of mixed signals. And this was a divergent low. Yeah, so not my favorite. You know, again, to short this thing, you know, I'm probably going to stay away from it, to be honest. But, you know, I tried to take a stab at it on Friday, I think. And when it started to recover, I just exited. I just was like, yeah, it's not working. I think I lost like $70 on the trade, nothing major. But this trade was really up here. All right, this is the short. This is where I said get short. That was your trade. Now it's, you know, there's just not as enough. There's not as much juice for the squeeze now to short this thing. So we'll probably, you know, you can keep an eye on it, but I'm looking for other better setups. Okay, guys, that's all I got. Leave me a thumbs up on your way out. I do appreciate that. And again, check out that course if you haven't done so. It's pretty good, I think. And I will catch you guys on Monday. Later.